I thought it was a delightful debate. I loved it. And you were an energetic and enthusiastic part of that debate. And I want to thank you.
Willard today riding high after last night's Republican debate. Just a week and a half ago, Romney had a commanding 25-point lead over Newt Gingrich in the Sunshine State. But just 6 days later, after his win in South Carolina, Gingrich surged into first place. Now it looks like Newt's momentum has stalled. Romney has retaken the lead, polling 9 points ahead of Gingrich, just 4 days before the Florida primary. But Newt's hitting back, airing a new ad today targeting Romney's statements in the debate.
If a man's dishonest to obtain a job, he'll be dishonest on the job.
What kind of man would mislead, distort, and deceive just to win an election? This man would. Mitt Romney. Romney said he has always voted Republican when he had the opportunity. Romney denied seeing a false ad his campaign used to attack Newt Gingrich. If we can't trust what Mitt
The question now is, will Florida Republicans trust Willard with their vote? Joining me now is Rod Smith, chairman of the Florida Democratic Party, and Nia Malika Henderson, national political reporter for the Washington Post. Thank you both for your time and for being here tonight.
Good to be here.
Rod, let me start with you. You know the Florida better than anyone. Do you think Republicans in your state trust Mitt Romney?
No, I mean, I think it's not been a matter of trust as much as it's been as I've said from the beginning. I think he has a connection problem. I don't think he connects, particularly in some parts of the state. Whether or not he wins this thing, it's kind of like American Idol. It appears last night that Gingrich can't cha-cha, so the scores go down. But the truth is, over the long haul, that Romney still suffers from a lack of connection with Florida voters. I think they worry about whether or not he understands their circumstances. They worry about whether or not he's been consistent in terms of where he says he's been on various issues and whether he's told the truth to the voters. And I think that I keep telling you, if it were up to me, I wish we had a debate tomorrow night, because the more these guys keep talking to Floridians in the way they do, and to one another the way they do in front of Floridians, the better the president looks and the better his message sounds.
Nia, Romney responded to the ad I just played today. Let me show you what he said. It says, it's laughable to see the lectures honestly coming from a paid influence peddler who suffered an unprecedented ethics reprimand, was forced to pay $300,000 in penalties, and resign in disgrace at the hands of the party. This is what the spokesman for Romney said. Now, Nia, they're talking very confident after last night's debate. Is it game over, or could Newton make a comeback in these 4 days?
I think, it's still early. We've got 3 full days of campaigning left, and I think Newt Gingrich has proven that he can be a nimble campaigner and that he has been Lazarus-like in his ability to claw his way back to the top. No, he doesn't have any more debates, and yes, Mitt Romney is a much improved candidate. We saw that last night, and he's certainly confident and bordering on cocky out there on the stump today, saying that, he won that debate, that it was delightful. But again, I think Newt Gingrich still has a message. He still has an audience. He's been drawing really large crowds down there, thousands of people coming out to see him. You've been down there
covering in Florida. Tell us about the contrast, if there is any, between the Gingrich gatherings and the gatherings for Willard.
Well, there's certainly different types of crowd. Newt's crowds are more blue-collar, working-class folks, some evangelicals. And Mitt Romney's crowds are much more well-heeled crowds, wealthier, upper-middle-class folks. And I think there is a difference, too, in terms of passion. A lot of passion at Newt's crowds, a lot of people there, lots of chanting of USA, USA. So a lot of enthusiasm for this candidate, and they definitely connect with him. They feel like he's the one to carry their message in an angry way, because they are so angry at the state of this country, angry at this president, and so they have very much connected with him. I think the question, though, is we've got Mitt Romney out there with $15 million worth of ads dumping on Newt Gingrich's head. Newt Gingrich did come out with that ad that we saw today that leads with Mike Huckabee, but Mike Huckabee has come out to say that is an unauthorized use of his image in that soundbite, so that ad actually might come down.
Now, Rod, you talked about how the voter is not connecting. Whether it works for next Tuesday or not, Willard made some mistakes last night, like when he was caught last night's debate lying about an ad running on Florida radio. Let me show you this, or let me let you hear this.
You've had an ad running saying that Speaker Gingrich called Spanish, quote, the language of the ghetto. What do you mean by that?
I haven't seen the ad, so I'm sorry I don't get to see all the TV ads. I doubt that's my ad, but we'll take a look and find out.
We just double-checked. It was one of your ads. It's running here in Florida on the radio, and at the end you say, I'm Mitt Romney, and I approved this ad. So it is here.
Let me ask you a question.
So he's caught red-handed there, his voice on an ad. And then he also had a strange answer about his reversal of immigration, and he says, well, my parents were born in Mexico. Yeah, but they were natural Americans born in Mexico. It has absolutely nothing to do with immigration. I mean, so even in his best night, he's still stumbling.
Well, I think the first instance is, I'm an old prosecutor, and when you see a guy on the when he denies something and you hit him with it, and it's that magic moment that happens to you when he's absolutely been caught, and either you don't believe him, either he didn't know what he was doing and he's not controlling his campaign, or the answer is he absolutely was misrepresenting what he knew to be the facts, and in either instance he looks bad. I thought the immigration thing was an interesting answer, because when he tried to make that connection, I think that is a sign that Gingrich was off last night, because that was such an obvious comeback, right, the one that you just shared with us. So, but again, I have to tell you, from the perspective I sit in, I love the fact that they are still engaging in this kind of brutal. No,
I do too. Let me ask you something before we run out of time. Voting, you are on to something today. You know that's dear to my heart that we've been dealing with on the show and in the civil rights community. Voter ID, voting suppression. Tell us what you're doing in Florida.
Well, we had a great rally today, and then we had a hearing that Senator Durbin was down for. Bill Nelson was involved in setting it up, and we had a great turnout at the courthouse, and we went over to the hearing to really talk about what's going on in Florida and other states, and that is really not in generations have we seen people design something so as Tallahassee Republicans, and this governor has gotten behind, and that is designed to do nothing more than to drive down the vote. And no matter what party you're in, we believe very strongly that win or lose, America's richer, Florida's richer, democracy's richer by participation. Anything that drives down participation is the wrong thing.
Well, we agree with that. We're going to be doing a lot throughout this the winter and spring, and we'll sure be involving each other. Everybody, no matter what your party, the right to vote must be protected. Rod Smith and Nia Malika Henderson, thanks for your time tonight.